A private jet sits on a tarmac. A phone lies silent. And across an ocean, a father reportedly fights for his health, while his daughter, a former senior royal, is said to be powerless to reach him. This isn't a plot from a Hollywood drama. These are the real, heartbreaking layers of a story emerging from behind the walls of Montecito and the headlines of the British press. Welcome to Royal Report 24/7. If stories of human complexity, set against the impossible glare of the royal spotlight, captivate you, then you are in the right place. Before we go any deeper, do us a favor. Subscribe to Royal Report 24/7 and hit that notification bell. We are your front row seat to the unseen tensions and emotional truths of royal life. Your support through likes and shares allows us to bring these nuanced stories to light. The claim, as reported by several outlets, citing unnamed sources close to the situation, is as simple as it is devastating. Meghan, the Duchess of Sussex, allegedly does not know which hospital her father, Thomas Markle, is being treated in, rendering her unable to visit, to call, to directly check on his well-being. According to these reports, the lines of communication have been severed, not by choice in this moment of crisis, but by years of silence, misunderstanding, and very public estrangement. To understand the gravity of this, we must rewind. The story of Meghan and her father is a public wound, first opened in the blinding lead-up to her wedding to Prince Harry. The staged paparazzi photos, the heart surgery that caused him to miss the ceremony, the relentless media interviews. Each chapter added another layer of hurt and a seemingly impossible distance. Since Meghan and Harry's departure from royal life and their move to the United States, that distance has reportedly become a chasm. Thomas Markle has continued to give interviews, often critical, while Meghan and Harry have championed a philosophy of privacy and boundary setting. The two worlds, the public narrative and the private pain, have become irreconcilable. Now, insiders suggest a health emergency has crashed into this silent war. Reports indicate Thomas Markle, now in his late 70s, has suffered a serious medical event. But the very mechanisms that Meghan and Harry have had to build to protect their family, the privacy barriers, the legal safeguards against media intrusion, the careful vetting of all communications, may now be acting as an inadvertent prison. If the only information coming to her is through tabloid reports or third-hand whispers, how can she possibly know where to turn? How can a daughter reach out when the address, the room number, the very facility is a mystery? Palace historians and commentators, we've spoken to note the cruel irony here. Meghan, who has spoken so powerfully about the importance of family, of reconciliation in her philanthropic work, finds herself in a Greek tragedy of modern fame. The tools she uses to shield her husband and children are the same tools that may be keeping her from her father's bedside. It's a dilemma with no royal protocol, no precedent to follow. This is not a rift between royal cousins over a uniform. This is the raw, universal agony of fractured family, amplified 1,000,000 times by the global spotlight. And consider the emotional calculus, as described by those claiming to understand the Sussex's circle. To make a public appeal for information would be to feed the very media frenzy they blame for poisoning the relationship. To reach out through old, possibly compromised channels risks opening a floodgate of communication they have worked for years to control. Yet, to do nothing while the world speculates carries its own profound weight of guilt and sorrow. It is an impossible position. This situation also casts a haunting light on the relentless pressure of the press. Some reports speculate that Thomas Markle's current location is being deliberately kept private by his own representatives, perhaps to protect him from the media scrum that would inevitably follow if Meghan were to visit. So, we have a scenario where the fear of cameras may be keeping a daughter from her father. The very entity Meghan is suing for invasion of privacy is now, in a twisted way, potentially dictating the terms of a potential reunion in a time of crisis. It's a vicious, inescapable cycle. We must also look at this through the lens of Prince Harry's own profound trauma. A man who blames the press for the death of his mother, who has written and spoken about the terror of history repeating itself, is now watching his wife potentially relive a version of his own nightmare, a parent in distress, with media headlines as the primary source of information. The protective instincts that define Harry must be in overdrive, yet equally, he understands a unique torment of unresolved parental conflict. His presence in this situation adds another layer of intense, personal history to an already volatile mix. There is a broader, quieter commentary here on the anatomy of modern estrangement. In an age of instant digital connection, how is it possible to be so utterly disconnected? It speaks to a breakdown so complete that not even an emergency can bridge it. For viewers who have experienced family fractures, this story may resonate on a deeply personal level, stripping away the glamour of a duchess to reveal a universal daughter's pain as of now. There is only silence from Montecito. No official statement from Archewell, no comment from the Duchess's representatives. The story exists in the realm of claims, source reporting, and painful speculation. But its power lies in its human truth, regardless of the specific facts. It asks us uncomfortable questions about forgiveness, pride, and the price of a life in the public eye. Can a rift ever be too wide to cross, even at death's door? What does duty to a parent look like when that relationship has been weaponized globally? The world watches and waits. Will there be a private breakthrough, a secret journey made away from the cameras? Or will this remain a silent, sorrowful standoff, a permanent footnote of regret in Meghan Markle's life story? The clock, as they say, is ticking, measured not in palace minutes, but in the fragile beats of a human heart. This is a story of raw humanity behind the royal title, and it's exactly the kind of layered reporting we are committed to at Royal Report 24/7. The situation is fluid, and we will be following every development. If you are invested in understanding the real people behind the headlines, please help our channel grow. Subscribe for our daily updates. Let us know your thoughts in the comments with a like, and share this video with someone who understands that the biggest royal dramas are often the quietest and the most human. Thank you for watching Royal Report 24/7.